Hello everyone, my name is V from the Lavender Lab, and welcome to the October Master Duel new pack release, where we are going to be doing a pack breakdown for the NR format's newest cards. Now, if you don't know what the NR format is, the NR format is basically you go on Master Duel and it's all the cheap cards. Only the cheap cards are legal. It's a whole lot of fun, and it is a great way to play Master Duel without having to worry about grinding gems. There's a custom ban list for balance, but I highly recommend checking it out within the Format Friends set of servers in the description below. Selection Pack Rulers Providence. This is the newest pack in the NR format and for Master Duel as a whole. The biggest cards we are looking at here are the Dragon Rulers, the Mitsurugis, and the Ancient Fairy Dragon cards. And I'll be honest, we got a lot of one of them and not a lot of the other two that's really playable. Without further ado, we are going to be getting into all of them right about now, starting with Mitsurugi no Miku Wosu. Now, this card is really interesting in the fact that it's probably one of the best cards we got for Mitsurugis. Level 8 Dark Reptile, you can special summon itself from your hand by attributing another reptile from your hand and one monster your opponent controls, but you are locked into reptile effects and special summons. Despite those locks, this card is rather good and even has an effect when it's tributed, and it's put together really nicely with a trifecta of Mitsurugi cards that we got in this pack. The second of which being Mitsurugi Great Purification. When your opponent activates a card or effect, tribute a level 5 or higher reptile monster, negate that effect, and destroy that card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target a reptile in your graveyard, special summon it, and then tribute another monster you control. This card's really strong. This card is really strong, it just does not have a good card to tribute. I'm going rather fast between these because these two Mitsurugi cards are probably two of our best. And these cards are really strong to be able to have some sort of control element for reptiles, which previously were not a huge threat in the NR format. You have the Ogdoadic cards back here. If you see this whole archetype right here, it can be low rarity if you need it to be, although it's not really the best. We have one other card, being Vanguard of the Underground Emperor. This is a pretty decent card that some decks already played as a beat stick. You can use this to play Mitsurugi Great Perfection in basically any deck that can summon it, which is really nice. Another card this card can work rather well with is Gogigagagigo, a level 8 water reptile, importantly Primite Howl. This card has come up so many times in the last few months of the NR format, and it allows you to summon a normal monster from your deck as well as take control of opponents' monsters. Now, this card has a fairly high attack. If you see the graveyard effect needs a higher attack, but Gogigagagigo is still a very strong beat stick to summon in a reptile-focused deck when playing Primite. The third card of this Mitsurugi trifecta is Mitsurugi Matagama, which says tribute a reptile, then target a face-up card your opponent controls destroyed. This is main phase only, but it is a quick play spell. This card is just a very nice card. Tribute a reptile, target a face-up card, and destroy it, a la Ballista Squad, which as you can see is a very old card here and probably not the best, but it can still be used here with Mitsurugi Matagama, making it much better. It's also a Mitsurugi card, which is really important when you have something like Mitsurugi no Mikoto Kusanagi. When it's normal or special summon or tribute, you can target a Mitsurugi card in your graveyard or banishment, except one of itself, and add it to your hand. And then if another reptile you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can tribute it instead. This card is really nice with Matagama because it can bring back the Matagama, which is really good, or it can bring back another one of your Mitsurugi cards like Purification or Wosu. Now, this card is definitely the fourth best friend of all of these. I recommend looking into it in a Mitsurugi theming deck for reptiles, but it's definitely not one of the three power plays. That being said, the standard for Mitsurugi cards drops off dramatically right here as we get to Mitsurugi Sacred Boundary, which prevents targeting of your ritual monsters that are Mitsurugis, and you can target 4 Mitsurugi cards in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then force your opponent to tribute a monster if they have one. This card's not good. This card is very bad. Do not play it. But anyway, we then have Mitsurugi Mirror. This is a Mitsurugi ritual spell, which without any Mitsurugi ritual monsters, we can't really use it. But I hear what you're saying. It can summon any reptile ritual monster from hand or grave. Surely there's got to be some monster that we can use. No, there's not. There's not even one in SR or above. These are the only reptile ritual monsters in the game. And then finally we have Mitsurugi Tempest. which is also not usable at all because we don't have any of the Mitsurugi ritual monsters. So we got 7 Mitsurugi cards out of this 14 card set. Sadly, only a few of them are actually playable, but on the flip side, these 4 cards actually have the backbone for a reasonable strategy, which could be interesting in the future. With that out of the way, we are done with the Mitsurugi cards. We get to the Ancient Fairy Dragon cards, which we're going to go by rather quickly because they are not very good. Kuriban the Fairy Spirit can special summon itself if you control a light beast, plant, or fairy monster, and it's treated as a tuner. And then if Ancient Fairy Dragon or a monster that mentions it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can turn this card from the field to the hand instead. That's it. This card doesn't do a whole lot because we don't have a whole lot of the Ancient Fairy Dragon support. We don't have things like Regulus, we don't have the new Ancient Fairy Dragon. We do have Spore the Fairy Seed, but this card's worse. This card is just even worse, sadly, as you can't really take advantage of it, and Synchro monsters in the NR format are very not good. Synchros in the NR format are famously lower power compared to other summoning mechanics like Xyz and Link monsters, at least in terms of splash ability. And there's not a whole lot of payoff to building a synchro strategy around these cards. We finally have Bat the Forest Ninja, which I believe has some tangential connection, but is actually a Fairy Tail Prologue Journey's Dawn card, which we do not have Fairy Tail Prologue Journey's Dawn. So this card's search effect is completely offline, but it can special summon itself from your hand if there is a face-up card in the field zone. You can see here we actually have a ton of level 7 synchros, but outside of a couple niche cases, there's not a whole lot of them that are generically applicable to a lot of decks. We have Psyframe Lord Zeta, which is a payoff, but it's not enough in the modern day. There is one piece of generic support, however, so good that it broke Master Duel meta. I'm kidding, it's not actually that good, but Uka no Mitsune no Tamayora. If you control a level 4 or lower light beast, plant, or fairy monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then it actually gives benefits to a synchro monster that are rather interesting. It gains 500 defense, and your opponent cannot target in defense position with card effects. But Uka no Mitsune no Tamayura is actually something to be looking out for, and I think it could see play, theoretically, if we got the right monster to go with it. This does bring us to our generic cards. We have Crimson Firewing Pegasus. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, it can attack directly. And then, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the chain link number of this effect times 300. Also, this card cannot be destroyed by effects activated before this one in this chain. So it protects itself, it does a little bit of burn damage, it can summon itself for free, and it can attack directly for a little bit more damage. Honestly, not the worst card I've ever seen. Likely not too much to write home about. But what is a little bit to write home about is Wicked Serpent Night Dragon. You contribute a dark from your hand or field, special summon this card from your hand. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard, then you can special summon this card. So theoretically, you can keep crashing this card into the same monster to destroy cards over and over. You can keep sending them to the graveyard and special summoning this card back, assuming there's no other effects, but this could actually be used for some reasonable board breaking, which is something that I know a lot of people are going to be experimenting with, and I myself might actually experiment with it as well. Out of all of the generic monsters, this is definitely one of the more interesting to think about, and definitely more generic in its applications. But here we have one more card that is our Dragon Ruler card. You may notice I haven't mentioned them at all, and that's because this card is very bad. We literally cannot activate it. Here there be dragons! Special summon a Dragon Ruler monster from your hand, graveyard, or banishment. We do not have any of those. Or, during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target any number of your banished Dragon Ruler monsters with different attributes, and return them to the graveyard. Again, we have no Dragon Rulers. So sadly, the Dragon Ruler fans out there, we did not get it in the NR format, which is sad to say, but those cards are also fairly strong. With that being said, I am hopeful for this set, but overall I don't think it's going to play out as good as people were hoping to be, although Reptile does seem very interesting as something to explore as we get more support in the future. So, thank you all very much for watching, have a great day everyone, subscribe to the Lavender Lab, and I will see y'all next time.